Well, and some people, the reason that this is a relevant subject is because some people have suggested in response to the Christ news that why don't they fire Brian and promote John Budmeyer to be the offensive coordinator in the meantime? I don't really know if that makes a difference here at Iowa. And John Budmeyer, he's not the Jim Leonard of the offense. Like, he's not proven himself to some great extent. He was Paul Chryst' quarterback's coach. He was the OC for 1 year at Colorado State, a year they were not very good. And what has he done this year that's inspired confidence, Mark? He's getting paid like $16,000 a week to, I guess, help with the offense because he's not supposed to technically be coaching the quarterbacks. I don't know if those I think there's ways around those technicalities. I don't know that for certain, but my point is, what difference have you seen on the field, Mark, at the quarterback position? And wouldn't you think that'd be the position he'd be helping with, given his trademark as a QB's guru? So I don't really think he's the answer. So I don't really think you probably make a change mid-season because I don't really know that it does anything. For Iowa, it doesn't do anything.
I saw the first positive signs out of this offense, true positive signs against Michigan on about 3 drives. They had a couple 75-plus yard drives and a few 40, 45-yard drives.
But again, Mark, I'm not trying to I know this is going to sound like I'm just being negative, but the game was basically out of reach at that point. And, let's see Iowa play with you can't evaluate an offense when a defense can sit back in a zone and, allow. I mean, this is what Iowa does to opponents. Like I bring up the Michigan game, they did it actually. I know they gave up the early touchdown, but they gave up, I don't know what the total yardage was in that first half, but boy, Michigan ran the ball effectively, but Iowa still was only down, what were they down, 13-0 at halftime? I mean, given the yardage, you would expect more. So Iowa bends and doesn't break. 2017 against Penn State was a perfect example of that. I'm just saying, until I see Iowa perform like that under pressure, when a defense is actually being aggressive and playing like they did to start, I'm not convinced that there's much upward motion. And I'd like to believe there is. Believe me, I don't want to believe that this offense is stuck in mud, so to speak. But you are actually impressed given the circumstances in the second half by Iowa's offense?
Impressed, relatively speaking. I'm being impressed compared to what the standard has been. No, I would not be impressed with an offense that scored 0 in the first half and scored 2 touchdowns in the second half, and 1 was obviously in garbage time. When did they even score the final I didn't even see the final touchdown. So this was my viewing situation on Saturday was at 20-0. I'm like, I'm gone. Okay, I'm out of here, and I'll just watch the score and I'll see when the score pops up. And if Iowa, which I didn't anticipate, has any life in it, then I can always flip back. I flipped back at 20-7 during the ill-fated drive, and then the 4th and 2 missed conversion inside the 5-yard line. And then I watched a little bit after that. I saw Michigan score to make it 27-7, and there was only like 3 minutes left, something in that range at that point. So I was a little surprised to see that Iowa scored a meaningless touchdown. The last 2 touchdowns, one each side, were what I would consider to be meaningless touchdowns. But
so even if we're counting the touchdown at the beginning of the fourth quarter, it was 20-0 heading into the fourth, and before the last touchdown, which occurred with like 10 seconds left in the game. So it's completely 7 points, Mark. That's all I'm saying. I mean, I understand what you're saying. You're going to see improvement from nothing. I mean, there's nowhere to go but up, right? And so I understand what you're saying, and I see some. Rick has brought it up several times. Stay positive. I've said a million. The defense and special teams unit was really good. Now the defense is not going to be able to play perfect, and Michigan's too electric of an offense. Their offensive line is too good. Blake Corum's too good. You're not going to be able to hold those guys down completely. You can't expect to be able to win a bunch of 7-3 type games. So yeah, I mean it's there. Unfortunately, right now you are what you are, even with this elite offense and special teams unit.